some police personnel have been attacked. As a result of that, the Director of Operations of the Accra Region Police Command, Superintendent Kwesi Ofori, on a number of security-related issues, has been having some great conversation with the Marvio Sabwaje. The police personnel attacked recently, armed robbery incident, and what generally the crime situation is.
Chief Superintendent Kwesi Ofori, thank you for sitting down with me. Let's talk about this the weekend shooting of the police officers. Can you tell us how it happened?
They were earmarked to patrol the city among other units. And they had a distress call, responded to it, and in the course of their being going to where the incident is alleged to be happening, they met a group of young men and decided to engage them. Suddenly, they opened fire on the police, shooting 4 of them.
When you say engage them, is it to make inquiries or sought to arrest them?
Just to inquire from them what they're doing in the neighborhood at the time and any other questions that perhaps they have for them. All of a sudden, they discharged a weapon from a weapon that they wield unlawfully, and by so doing, they wounded 4 of our personnel. The 5th person, who was the driver, was not affected, so he quickly disengaged the effort of the criminals, took charge of the wounded, and took them to the Kolebu hospital, teaching hospital, for treatment.
Let's go back to a technical word you use. Disengage the efforts of the attackers. What does that mean? What exactly did he do? Were they arrested?
No, at that moment, the best thing to do is to secure the wounded officers and take them to safety. And he did all that it takes, to prevent the attackers from getting on further. So by disengaging them, he was able to take them to Kolebu, where he handed them over to the medical authorities, to provide the much needed treatment, which they did. And we are very grateful to the doctors and staff at Kolebu that, responded to this call and gave them the best of treatment.
But how many men attacked your men? How many of these people attacked your men?
They were able to, the 5 or 6 people, but it was night. It's very difficult to give the exact number. But from the group that they engaged, they fired, and the criminal did it suddenly, to the surprise of the officers. But I have said the driver, who was not part of the team that alighted from the vehicle, did a good job by disengaging, the criminals and taking them to safety.
What are the protocols in terms of the distress call they received? They were headed somewhere. They stopped, met a group of young people and decided to engage them. What does the protocol say? What were they supposed to have done?
Yes. In policing, we have the soft palm approach and the hard palm approach. During patrols, and you happen to meet suspicious people, you cannot, out of the blue, start using lethal force or any other force that may be injurious to them. But one, they just accosted them, wanted to know what they were doing in the neighborhood, and that may invite further steps, like perhaps searching, body search, looking out for weapons, looking out for implements adapted to cause injury, and so forth. And it can also lead to arrest, handcuffing, and eventual arrest. So before even they could even interact with them, one quickly discharged his weapon, causing injuries to these 4 officers.
Let's talk about the injuries. We were told somebody was shot in the chest, and this has generated another kind of conversation. How prepared were they in terms of were they wearing bulletproof gadgets? Were they ready for any kind of shots?
Yeah. As you rightly said, yes, he was shot in the chest. He got injured and was sent to the hospital. Yes, as part of our accoutrement, for personnel, we do supply them aside their weapons and all the facilities that they need in patrolling, including bulletproof. We have, but it's not, enough for all of them. We agree. And
so these officers were not in the bulletproof vests.
Internally we are looking at it, but I cannot say that they are without, because.
But as an ordinary person, if a police officer was shot in the chest and it affected him, he's in intensive care. In fact, he had to undergo some surgery as well.
Oh yes.
Then I would want to believe that he was not wearing a bulletproof vest.
That we are very grateful to the doctors, for the kind of work that they did, bringing all the specialists and making sure that they stabilize him.
But that also suggests to me, as an ordinary person, that he was
yes,
not in the bulletproof vest.
as an ordinary person.
Yes.
Yeah, we may look at it. I think, as I said, we are looking at the circumstances and events, developments, happenings, and we may come to a conclusion as to what exactly happened. But let me remind you that not all officers have that vest.
Because you don't have enough.
We don't have enough. So that one is a fact that we don't have. It's not for all of them. We have some that we use at national, international assignments and so forth. And this particular one, I think, may also call for.
But if you're going on a night's patrol, if you receive a distress call at nights as a police officer, I am thinking, again, as an ordinary person, that you'd want to be 100% prepared for that journey.
Oh yes, we brief them. We give them what it takes, to go to the patrols and also to protect them. So one thing is, officer safety is very paramount to us, and that of the public also is very important. And in responding, to distress calls, it behooves on officers, to be very mindful that they will do whatever it takes to protect the public, at the same time also protect themselves. But here we are seeing some young men decided to engage them, and they dish out violence by shooting them, which is against the law, which is unlawful, improper.
So have you made any arrests
But
yet?
one thing is, I would like to state it, that assuming the police were able to detect that they had, unlawful weapon on them, and they could use it, probably the story might have been different. And here we are, when it happens, like other places, public comments, the media position, and other matters of discussion normally does not favor the police. But let me make it clear and emphatic here that the criminal dynamics have changed. Unlike the years where criminals easily succumb to arrest, criminals are without dangerous weapons. Criminals are without adapted implements made to cause injury. Criminals are prepared to obey the law when a policeman approaches. But here we are, the whole world is changing. We haven't hardened criminals, people who like to take the laws into their hands, people without respect to law and authority. And policing in such an environment means the police need to be very tough, robust in dealing with such situations, and we are prepared for that.
Isn't that how you've been operating these days?
Yeah, and we are prepared for that. Yeah, very likely you say that that's how we are operating
asking,
this
isn't
way.
that how you've
but
been
it has come with a lot of criticisms from members
because
of the
there are
public,
always
the media.
excesses.
Media, not excesses, like what those gentlemen did. If they were to detect it earlier, they would have given them the appropriate force response.
So have you made any
by
arrests?
subduing them.
Have you made any
We
arrests?
are investigating. We are trying to put our lookout procedures into order, and I tell you, we're going to get them. We have the capacity and the strength. We have the capacity and the strength to take them.
Because these men are police officers, these men who have been injured. It's unfortunate, but when you say you would get the perpetrators, you will, because we've seen it happen. When it happens to police officers, indeed, you do get them. So how do you do it?
It is not only the police officer. We've done countless, operations aimed at getting criminals who killed, maimed, or injured members of the public.
Do you realize, sir?
But here we are. We don't have empirical evidence for that.
It comes rather very quickly, and you get all of them.
But we don't have empirical evidence for that. But I can assure you that we have the strength and the capacity, and we are sending that signal to those criminals that will get them. We will never be discouraged. This morning we had a mini briefing. We've urged our men to be bold, strong, and carry out their normal work without fear or favor, and that they should do whatever it takes to protect the civil populace, the larger populace, in the neighborhoods, communities, schools, colleges. They should go all out and, protect everybody.
Is this going to change their approach to those, especially those who either respond to distress calls or those who go on night patrols? So if I am in my neighborhood and I am approached, is there something that I am supposed to do to show that I am not armed or I don't have any bad intentions?
Policing thrives on goodwill. Policing thrives on good interaction with community members. Policing thrives on that reciprocal, attitude. We need to talk to you, you need to talk to us. And that will not change. We will continue to engage members of the public, we will continue to talk to them, we will continue to elicit information, we will continue to encourage crime reporting, and also people providing information to the public. We're not going to close our doors, because with our public operation, with our goodwill towards the police, there might be so many challenges. And our doors are still open as the transformation agenda continues to move on in all spheres. A new police officer, a new attitude, commitment to work, and so forth. All this is happening. And Accra is one of the peaceful capital cities in the world compared to other cities elsewhere. And that is due to the hard work from the police and the goodwill also shown by members of the public. Though people criticize the work of the police, we believe that majority of our people are with us. That's why you go to our information room, information flowing all over, from members of the public in terms of distress, in terms of police presence, in terms of police coming in, to ward off, criminals and so forth. All this kind of information comes, from all manner of persons in our society, the upper, the lower, and classes, and the middle. So one thing I would say is that we are very grateful to members of the public who continue to assist us in our daily operations, in our daily activities, and so forth. But it will be very hard and tough on the criminals, the violent ones, who will make sure to disturb, who will take steps, to kill, maim, and disrupt peaceful activities in our community. That one will be very tough on.
Isn't there a challenge, the fact that you don't know the identity of these people who attacked your men? How then do you get them? How do citizens help you to arrest them?
Let me tell you that yesterday's incident, we are very grateful to members of the public for their cooperation and assistance, and we are getting somewhere. We are very grateful to them. Not only that, all the yesteryear's cases that we are investigating, the success story of it goes to the public.
So you're getting somewhere with this particular case means
our
that
heroes.
You know where you have a fair idea where they are hiding.
Yes, we have strong intelligence network. When we talk of intelligence, we are not talking of that of the police, the national security apparatus, the sister security agencies. In matters like this, in times like this, we collaborate, fish out, join information, join pieces of information, talk to good people in society, people who are committed to saying that we enjoy peace. We talk to them, and at the end of it, or it happens in public, so also with that information coming, and we shall succeed. We're going to succeed. We're going to get them, and we'll get them to justice in terms of facing the law.
What's the greatest challenge in terms of fighting crime in Accra today?
One thing is challenges emerge in the environment that you operate from or operate within. And looking at our environment, Accra and its outlying areas, we have challenges. Some in terms of distress calls. We don't have street names, house numbers are not well written. Some you tell you I live in house number AK2 at this neighborhood. You go in there, you cannot find the house number. It's rather written at the back of the house or within the house. Is not outside, in that arrangement. It makes it difficult. There are some very dark areas, developing areas and so forth, and some of these crimes take place in the outlying area more than the city center, which is well defined and with road names, streets and so forth. So all that we're saying is that they are all challenges, and then the attitude of the people. The attitude of the people. Are they coming out with information? Are they helping? For instance, recently we took some successes where a neighbor, try as much as possible directing police to where the attack is taking place or was taking place. And when it comes that way, it helps the police, because those victims, those under attack, may not have the opportunity of talking to the police that long. That is why we should be each other's keeper, and we should assist each other. When something is happening in House B and you are in House A, you should take that responsibility by directing the police and giving the right information. And we are all there. And one thing also that we zone Accra, the patrol teams, we have the combat teams, the regional SWAT, the regional counter-terrorism team, the national counter-terrorism teams, the SWAT teams.
All of them are patrolling?
All of them
at the same time?
And then the Calm Life operation, which is a joint operation between the police and the military, that one is also operating. So we have a multifaceted approach.
Has the Ghana Post GPS helped with your operations? Has it been tested?
Well, that exercise is also ongoing, though we've not attained perfection yet, but it's ongoing. There are other stakeholders that are coming in and assisting. And I believe that as we've started, we are in a technological world.
So if I give a call, I'm on an attack, and I give you a call, and my direction is a Ghana Post GPS address, would that be helpful?
Yes, it would, but why not? And now, as I said, we have some stakeholders. Some equipment have been mounted in our patrol vehicles, and those are under test, and it's working. And we believe that come someday where all patrol teams will have such facilities, that will be well with us.
All right, well, we have to leave the conversation here, and we wish your men who are now in the hospital the very best.
Yes, and as you wish us well, we also appeal to the media to be very supportive of the police, should help us in the public education drive regarding their responsibilities, regarding what they need to do to assist the police in ensuring peace and security in our communities. The police cannot be run down through verbal discourses, and we need not do this. Rather, we should mobilize, rally behind the police, and we are also very mindful of human rights, our rules of engagement, and what we need to do. But for those criminals who have decided should be shooting the police and disrupting our operations, we will be tough and focused to ensure that we rid these criminals in our society, take them out. That's and face justice.
But you know, the only way we can work together as media and police is if you don't beat us when we get close. Even when we ask very foolish questions, the only way we can work together is if you don't beat us. And when you do, please let us find justice.
One thing
let there be transparency so we can get to the bottom of the issue. We are very
humane. We are parents. We are fathers, mothers, and we know the aspirations of this country will do exactly that will not, violate the rules of this country.
I'm tempted to ask,
or commit infractions.
Where we are with the investigations with our colleague Lateef Idris.
I think that one you have serious discussions with the police authorities, and it is our hope.
Current updates.
One day, someday,